run away.
Boy, Manny here once again. Welcome to another WNBA lineup advice video here at DFS Zone. And before I get started, like always, guys, man, I appreciate you guys drop a like. And if you have not subscribed as of yet to the channel, hey, do so down below. Do not forget to turn on your bell notifications on, so this way you don't miss any of my new uploads. With that being said, today is Thursday, August the 2nd, 2018. We have a two-game slate in the WNBA. We have Dallas at Indy, Minnesota at LA. Man, definitely not the greatest slate. I looked at this slate last night a little bit before going to bed, and oh man, it's crazy. But I'm gonna do everything I can. I'm gonna do my due diligence like always. I will be back later on, of course, with my game summaries as far as what I think are the best plays, best team stacks, and best game stacks, best value plays, and we could discuss whatever else you guys want to discuss regarding the slate. Of course, like always, live today. The live show is at about 5 to 6. I'll be on for about 40-45 minutes. But from here to then, I'm going to spend maybe an hour or two right after this video and dissect all this, do all my due diligence, get all the stats together, see where there could be some sort of opportunities here. And then, of course, I'm going to share those results with you guys later. All right, so let's dive in on the slate here. We got Dallas at Indy. This game, we do have implied totals. I don't have implied totals for Minnesota, LA. I would figure that game is going to be fairly close. But I will have an updated lines for you guys, of course, when we go into the show later on today. But Dallas is coming in. They're seated 8th in the standings right now. They really need every possible win. They haven't been playing too well as of late. They're coming in 14-12. In the last 5 games, they're 2-3, and they are 0-1 on the road during the course of those 5 games. Indianapolis, on the other hand, is dead last. As we know, they're the poorest team in the league. Their record stands at 3-23 right now. In the last 5 games, they're 1-4. And during the course of those 5 games, they played 2 games at home, and they have lost both of those games at home. These teams have played each other twice already this year, and Dallas has won both games. I got 89-83 and 90-63, obviously one blowout game. And basically that's where they stand right now. Team statistics at the moment, Indy is coming in 10th in pace with 79 possessions per game, last in points at 75 points per game. They are last in field goal percentage at 40.7%, 10th in three-point shooting at 32.1%, pretty much 32%. They're 10th in rebounding at 32.5 rebounds per game. They're dead last in assists with 15.7 assists per game. Percentage points from 2, they're 4th in the league, so obviously a lot of their offense revolves around shots within the 3-point range. So they're at 60.6%. Percentage points from 3, they're 7th in the league at 22.1%. Defensive side of the ball, points per game given up to guards, they're averaging 37.1 points per game given up to guards. That is last in the league. And they are 8th in the league in points per game given up to forwards and centers at 49.3 points per game. On the other side of the ball, Dallas is coming in 2nd in pace at 82.3, pretty much 82 possessions per game. They're 1st in scoring at 88 points per game, 6th in field goal percentage at 44.8%, 11th in three-point shooting at 30.1%, 4th in rebounding at 36.4 rebounds per game, 9th in assists at 18.3. Percentage points from 2, they're 9th in the league at 54.3% of their shots from the 2-point range, and they are 8th at percentage points from 3 at 21.9. Defensive side, points per game given up to guards, they are 33.4 points per game, and percentage points given up to forwards and centers, they rank 5th in the league at the moment at 48.6 points per game. All right. When I look in a little deeper here, I see that over the course of the last 4 or 5 games, and this is based on the last 4 games, Dallas is coming in giving up 57 points per game to the front court of their opposition. And they are averaging, beforehand, the season average is 48.6. So they have definitely taken a hit in the front court, giving up a lot more, a whopping 9.6 more points per game. So something to target as I do my due diligence to see if there's any good plays there. Guard-wise, they're defending the guards 37.7 points per game, giving up the guards over the course of the last 4 games. And their average during the course of the season thus far has been 33.4. So they have actually had a little bit of a setback there in the guard position as well as far as defending guards. that is a difference of about 3.5 more points a game. Indy on the other side, in their previous 4 games, they've given up a whopping 60.5 points per game to front court teams. I mean, that's really a massive amount. And their average is 49.3, which is actually, like in the middle of the league, maybe like 7th or 8th in the. Let's see, I have them. Yeah, I have them 8th at 49.3 as far as my stats are concerned, and they have given up 60, so that's a negative 11 more points per game. So definitely a great opportunity for Ms. Cambage, for Ms. Stevens, Thornton, and of course Ms. Glory Johnson up front. It's just a matter of finding out whom is going to be the 1 or 2 plays there that can definitely get it done. We know Liz Cambage can. As far as the guards are concerned, defending guards, they've given up 34.2 points per game. They've actually been much more improved in that area over the course of these last 4 games. Their average coming in is dead last in the league at 37.1. But like I said, they have improved by at least 3 more points less that they have given up to their opponents in the backcourt. So something to definitely look in. It's going to be a little crazy, man. Figuring this out, especially here at FanDuel, because the numbers and the values of these players are just all over the place. So to put a lineup together is going to be tricky, like it was yesterday. It's going to be no different today. And then of course you have the blowout potential here with Dallas and Indiana. All right, but let's look at the guards going into today's game in Dallas and Indiana. I mean, when I look at these, obviously Diggins Smith is definitely in play, guys. There's no doubt about it. So not much to discuss there, other than she had a 25 and a 64 spot in the 2 games that she has played against Indy. So, I mean, she's definitely hands down in play. You need 40 from her. She's capable of getting you 50, so the upside is there. Ms. Gray is here. Her prices get slowly but surely going up, but as we all know, Alicia Gray gets a lot of time on the court. Her and Smith, are a tandem that they barely are ever getting any breaks. This girl plays over 30 minutes a game, so, I mean, hands down, she's definitely someone to consider here. So I'm just going to try to get through these a little bit quicker. But Alicia Gray is definitely in play. When you get down here to the indie girls, it's so tough. Just like it's like dealing with New York again. Erica Wheeler, Kelsey Mitchell, Tiffany Mitchell. And actually, out of the 3 girls, looking at some statistics late last night, Tiffany Mitchell's had at least one close to 30-point game. She had a 29.9 spot in 32 minutes of play in their first game when they met earlier in the year. And she's all of a sudden now not even a part of what's going on here as of late. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to go over here. Here goes my fantasy cruncher. There is 38 players in the slate today, and I have narrowed this down thus far to 25 last night before going to bed. I'm going to dissect this, like I said, do my due diligence, and I'm going to figure out what are the better plays. But the ones with the thumbs up or the 2 or 3 thumbs up, I think are the best plays, at least at the moment, from what I see. So like I said, Diggins Smith and Alicia Gray are in play. I'll go down the list right from here. Chelsea Gray in play, 20, she's here at 7,500. You need 36, 37 from her. It's a hefty number, but Chelsea Gray has had a 28, a 29, and a 48 spot against this team this year. So she has done very, very well against Minnesota. One of the very few guards that I noticed here, Minnesota, 28 spot, 36 minutes, 3 of 11 shooting, not the greatest shooting night, 2 of 7 from 3. Imagine if she would have buried a few more of those shots. And over here on the bottom end, Minnesota here, a 29 spot in 31 minutes, almost 1 fantasy point per minute, 6 of 11 shooting. Not too bad there. And then, of course, in game 1, very early on in the year, where they pulled out that win, 77-76, she played 34 minutes, put in a whopping 48 fantasy points. So definitely 40-point upside in this matchup. And 7 of 16 from the floor. She took massive amount of shots. So, yeah, Chelsea Gray is definitely someone to consider. We come down here. Wheeler, I have her here for now. I'm going to definitely look into her a little bit more. I know that she's been playing a little bit more than the other girls, but she hasn't played well against Minnesota. Minnesota here, she got here, Minnesota. Against Dallas here, she got an 8 spot here in 19 minutes. Only took 1 of 3 shots. Wasn't really much at all involved in the offense. And then against Dallas here in the first game of the season, 8.7 fantasy points in 13 minutes. Didn't play a whole lot of minutes there. So it's just tough to say, but at least as of late, we know that she's been getting maybe more so, a little bit more minutes than T. Mitch and K. Mitch. 27 and 24 and 19, 22, 23, 24, 21. Pretty much like 21 to 22 minutes per game over the course of the last 5 or 6 games. And like I said, at this point of the season, you definitely want to try to get some players that are playing 20 minutes or better. Or if you're going to go with anybody lower than that, you definitely want to be able to have them have some upside. So Wheeler is in play at the moment. I am not going to say, I'm not going to give you a thumbs up on her. I'm going to definitely take a look at her a little bit further. I'd rather go with Pondexter, if anything. So Pondexter, to me, is in play. So definitely she is someone to consider. She's only been with the team a little bit of time. She did play. Let's see if she played against Dallas the last game. I think she did. Yeah, she put up a 23 spot against Dallas in a losing effort, 26 minutes, shot 6 of 11, pretty much close, a little over 50%. Not too bad, 2 assists, 2 rebounds. So, I mean, someone to consider. Pondexter at 4,300. Augustus, not too high in Augustus, but she ended 3 games. She's averaging about 12. I looked at him and I wrote him down. 3 games against LA. We got here 13 here, a 10 spot here in 27 minutes, and a 15, pretty much a 16 spot. Game 1 was probably her best game. Played 27 minutes, shot 3 of 6. Definitely had 4 assists, 5 rebounds. Had a good solid game in game 1 against them. So someone to consider, but at 5,300, Pondexter looks better to me at 1,000 cheaper. And if I'm going to go Augustus, I might as well at least consider Mitchell or any one of the 2 other Mitchells, which is going to be tricky. But Kelsey Mitchell could be someone to consider. She had a 10 in the first game against Dallas. Here you go right here, 10 spot in 14 minutes. This was in a blowout situation, as you can see, 90 to 63, so she didn't play a whole lot. But when she was there, her usage rate was pretty high. And then in game 1, she put up a 27 spot. Much better effort there, 35 minutes. Her price then was 5,700. Her price has been down, so she's actually cheaper now in this matchup than she was in the first matchup. So definitely someone to consider. She has the potential. She's capable of getting at least 30, so she has a decent ceiling. Odyssey Sims may be a nice play. That's why I got the thumbs up here. 4,400. She is $500 cheaper than Mitchell. But what I like is the minutes. I mean, 37, 34, 37, 33. I mean, I definitely want to take a shot at that. And not only that, she's taking advantage of these 33, 37 minutes. Obviously, with no Nneka Ogwumike, it definitely does help her. But 7, 12, 8, and 10, she's getting involved in the offense and taking shots, especially over the course of these last few games. And if there's no Ogwumike again today, then you can see that Sims is going to have to be a little bit, aggressive in her shooting and get involved in the offense early. And same thing with the young lady right behind her, Essence Carson. 5,100. I kind of like Sims already better than Carson's because of the minutes. She is $600 more cheaper, Sims, than Carson. But Carson is in play. All right. Carson in the games. She didn't play a whole lot of minutes in the games against this team because obviously they were going with a different unit back early on. But, I mean, right now, as of late, looking at her numbers, I mean, the minutes is what stands out. 35, 33, 31, 31, 33. She's taking anywhere between 7 to as much as 12 shots in those 4 games. So Miss Carson, to me, is definitely in play today. Them 2 will not be a bad tandem if you didn't want to go all the way up and pay for Chelsea Gray. Then you got Danielle Robinson, could be a little sneaky play. Miss Robinson put up in the 3 games, not big numbers against LA. She got an 11 spot here in 16 minutes, 4 of 7 shooting. Over here, she put up a 13, pretty much a 14 spot in 24 minutes. Shot perfect from the floor, 5 of 5. Had a total of 15 solid points. And here, only a 1.7. Really didn't get much. They only played 11 minutes, so we're not going to even take that game into consideration. But someone to consider, Ms. Robinson, Tiffany Mitchell, again, played pretty well. Like I said, I'm going to show you that. T. Mitch against Dallas. She had here an 11-7 here in 23 minutes. Shot poorly, 1 of 10, man. That is a horrible shooting day, but she made up with it with the 2 steals. Of course, the 1 block. There goes the fantasy points. So if she could play some D, that will definitely help. And then when she played Dallas the first time around, she had a solid game right here. 30, pretty much a 30 spot. Her cost was 5,100 then. She is at 4,400, just like K. Mitch. She is definitely a bargain at the moment, at least as far as FanDuel. Took 14 shots, was 4 of 14. Didn't shoot that well that day, but did 7 rebounds, 3 assists, had 2 blocks, That's what happens if you could do stuff like that. So T. Mitch could be a sneaky play. That's not going to be pretty much, not a lot of people on her, so you definitely could consider her. And Kayla Davis will probably be the last option. All right. When we go to the forwards, we're going right into the forwards. Liz Cambage, as you can see here on Fantasy Cruncher, a little bit more of a weakness in the guard play here against opposition. And as you can see, the tougher defensive up front teams are playing against one another today. So something's got to give, let's put it that way. All right. Liz Cambage is definitely in play. She's had a 24 and a 39 spot in the 2 games against Indy. Not massive games, but we know she's capable of putting 50, 60 plus. We've seen her put up 80. So she has been on a rampage. I think today, India has this way of keeping teams that are a pace team and neutralizing and making it into a half-court game. They really slow down the game, and this is where Dallas may have a little bit of a problem with Indianapolis, so be on the lookout for that. Liz Cambage hasn't had massive games, like I said. First things first, the 24.8 fantasy point game, let me just click on there, against Indy, was the blowout game. Okay, so we got to take that into account here, that she played 26 minutes and got 24 fantasy points, pretty much almost 1 fantasy point per minute, but it could have been a little bit more disastrous if this game was closer. She probably would have put up a little bit more bigger numbers here, but that's the reason why she only put a 24.8. So let's just keep that in mind. And then game 1 she put up 39 spot. So Liz Cambage is in play. Candace Parker in play as well. Like Candace Parker here, as of late, look at these 3 big games here. Okay, against Minnesota, right here, 40 spot in 34 minutes, 7 of 16, 3 of 8. Not the best shooting night, but definitely, as you can see, 16 shots and 8 shots. She took massive shots there. In the previous game against Minnesota, here she put a 32 spot, which is pretty respectable in 28 minutes, more than 1 fantasy point per minute. Shot better here from the floor. Didn't take up a lot of threes in this game, but she had 10 rebounds, 3 assists. Definitely cost herself turnovers. She's not foul prone, to the front court of Minnesota, so definitely it helps. Candace Parker definitely in play. Sylvia Fowles also in play tonight. Probably one of the better plays tonight. She has had 3 solid games against LA. We're going to go through them here. 48 spot here in 34 minutes, 10 of 11 from the floor. A lot of her shots are right under the basket, so as long as she can get inside, she's going to be very effective. Then we have second game against LA, if I can find it. Here she put a 25 spot, okay, in 28 minutes, 5 of 11. But this game here, right here, big, 5 fouls. She was in foul trouble, so that's why she didn't get as many minutes. And then, is that it? And then 25, I'm looking for over here, 35 spot. And then a 35 spot here in this game in a 1-point loss, 34 minutes, 6 of 10. Also, foul trouble. So if she stays away from foul trouble, that's the only drawback with her any given time she's playing against a good defensive front court. She gets herself in this point. Candace Parker being obviously a little bit better front court player than Fowles as far as what she brings to the table. She has a lot of more intangibles. She can shoot from 3. She can shoot from anywhere on the floor. She can penetrate. She can rebound. She can block. She can steal. So, obviously the numbers look better for me with Parker than Fowles. But Fowles, if she doesn't stay in, she doesn't get into foul trouble, she'll be fine. Maya Moore in play as well. So it's definitely someone to consider. Maya Moore, as of late, a little up and down. But let's look at the matchups. All right, against LA. She put up a 22 spot here in 33 minutes in a bad shooting night. She just had 2 bad shooting nights against this team, 2 of 13 here. So she needs to clean that up. She needs to shoot more efficiently for her team to even win. She needs to shoot well. She was 6 of 10 and 3 of 4 here. That's not a bad game there. But this one here, 4 of 14 and 0 of 3 from 3. That definitely hurt them there. And that's what they lost the game by 1 point. Imagine if she would have just hit a few more of these shots. So Maya Moore in play, 8,100. I think paying up and taking a risk on someone that has much more upside in Sylvia Fowles will probably be a better bet for $400 more. I wouldn't even mind going up $200 more and taking Candace Parker. Definitely you should try to pair up 2 of these big stud forwards up in your lineups today. Candice Dupree, I think she could be someone that you can definitely eye on. She only played 1 game against Dallas. The other game she was not in the lineup to play. I think she was ill or she was recovering from an injury. If I could find it here, she put up a 28.6. Mr. Pre against Dallas, and it's right here. 28.6 in 30 minutes in a losing effort. In a blowout situation was 32% usage rate. 7 of 13 from the floor, and 7 of 7 from the free throw line. Definitely didn't get a whole lot of rebounds in this game. Only 3, had 2 assists. You know, solid game, man. 21 points from the floor. So she could be sneaky here. She could be a nice little play at 7,200, especially if you want to pay off for one of these big studs here. You could come down here to this mid-tier level and grab a Dupree, Chanwell, or maybe even a Glory Johnson. Glory Johnson, not ever so high in Glory Johnson. She had a good game the last game out, 38, but prior to that, obviously, not so good. Her games against Indiana, she with Indy, let's see here. With Indy, she put up a 25 spot here in the last game in 21 minutes. So obviously more than 1 fantasy point per minute. Pretty nice, 4 of 7 from the floor. Had 11 massive rebounds. So that definitely helps. If she could rebound, that would be great. Something tells me that today she's not gonna have the same game she had the other day. But then again, I could be wrong. It's my opinion. I think Miss Thornton or Miss Stevens would definitely play a little bit better. Miss Stevens got in the last game, I think only played 8 minutes. Something had to happen. I don't know if she was probably not feeling well or whatever. I don't know. I didn't see any reports, but she only played 8 minutes and she only took a few shots. Matter of fact, let's go right to her. Yeah, only 8 minutes and took up 1 shot. Had 3 rebounds. I don't know what happened here. She only had 1 personal foul, so something had to happen there for her to sit down and not play as much in that game. Natalie Achanwa definitely is someone that I'm considering today. She's had 2 solid games here, 2 out of the last 3 games, 35 plus, man. Not too bad. The only problem is the 2 games against Dallas, she didn't play a whole lot. 21 minutes, 17 fantasy points, and she did the same thing in game 1, 21 points and 17 points as well. So I don't know what's the deal with that. It's just what's so weird, man. So I have no idea what may transpire today with Natalie, but I think she's definitely someone to consider. Thornton, like I said, is in play. Rebecca Brunson in play. 6,100. She is $400 more expensive than Thornton. She had, she's capable. She's 30 plus upside. She had a 34-pointer right here against New York. Let's see what she's done against LA. She got a 30 spot here against LA in 37 minutes. That is nice. 6 of 8 and 3 of 4. Fantastic game. Okay. Game before that, 12 spot in 17 minutes. Only 1 of 6 shooting. And then in game 1, 26 spot. She was definitely in the green there in 26 minutes. So that's more than 1 fantasy point per minute. So yeah, Rebecca Brunson is definitely in play. Azure Stevens, like I said. Gentel Lavender, obviously, if Miss Agumake is out, definitely you're gonna have to sprinkle in a little bit of Gentel. 5, 13, 12, taking shots. The minutes are good. 26 minutes to as much as 33. She's had 2 out of the last 3 games, 33 plus. I mean, she didn't play a whole lot in the previous games. What I have for Lavender? Actually, she put 33. Yeah, well, one of those games. Let's go back to it. As you can see, is against Indiana. She played 26 minutes. They lost the game by 2. 33. Excuse me, against Indiana. She put up that 26-33 against Indiana. But against Minnesota, only a 10 spot here. And 2 here. Oh, boy. Yeah, so tough to say, but that's obviously due to the fact that she was coming off the bench. Right now, she's actually getting more reps because there's no Nneka Ogwumike. So definitely someone to consider. Lower end here, Larkins and Vadiva might be possible considerations. I have them here on my list. As you can see, the pool is at 25. I will narrow this down, guys. That's pretty much it, man, for this slate. It's going to be a little tricky. Just like last night, I think it's leaving a little more trickier today because I'm worried about these Indiana players. We don't know what we're going to get with them. At least we know more or less with Minnesota and LA, more or less whom they are going to actually play, who's going to get minutes, and who's pretty much in the rotations. You have at least a general idea there. But when it comes to Indy, oh man, if this game could stay close, then it'll be fine. But it's hard to gauge right now or to even think that there's a possibility this game could be close. But again, anything can happen. And as we know, Indiana already has beaten LA and Minnesota in their home courts, in their opponent's home court. So anything can happen. They are playing at home today, which is not no difference. Obviously at 3-23, they are terrible on the road and at home. So that's pretty much it, guys. I'm going to dissect this. All right, I'm going to do my due diligence, and I'm going to come back for the live show and give you what I think is the best possible plays for all of us. All right, guys? So with that being said, man, drop a like on the video. Again, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe down below. And I will be back later on. Like I said, I'm going to give you the best possible plays, best possible value plays. We'll go over team stacks and game stacks. And obviously, I got a couple of things to look at. Percentages, rebounding. Some teams are more favorable rebounding in this match. In these matchups today, I noticed some percentages with three-point shooting. So I'm going to definitely look to see how they're doing against those opponents and see if there's any advantages anywhere. But I will be back later on, man, guys. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys later.